What's going on, comic fam? It's your boy, the Bearded Comic Bro, and it is time for another video. And today, I am taking the Are You a Comic Book Nerd Challenge. Now, I saw this happening on the Aznfunk's channel. I saw this happening on Comic Jabroni's channel. I saw just Rican and His Comics do it. And if you haven't checked out their channels, by all means, subscribe to their stuff. They put out so much good content that it is just a blessing in the midst of these quarantine days where you just are in need of comic content. Check out their stuff. I'll post links in my description in the video below, but they are great YouTubers that you guys all need to be watching. And so I watched their videos on the Are You a Comic Book Nerd Challenge, and I said, I need to do this. I got to take this challenge. Now, let's be honest. If you are making a YouTube video answering questions, are you a comic book nerd, and posting it to your comic book themed channel, and you have a comic book podcast, you're probably a comic book nerd. But I think this is just going to be fun. You guys are going to get to know a little bit more about the Bearded Comic Bro. You're going to get to know a little bit more about myself and just spread the love of comics. So if you guys like my stuff, make sure you click like, click subscribe, leave some comments. Let me know if you've taken the challenge. Are you a comic book nerd? And hey, as always, let's talk comics.
Better put the word out. Get ready for the nerd out. Better put specs on. Better break necks on. I cut handsome checks for my expansion sets.
Have you ever nitpicked over the condition of a comic? Yeah, I have, but only with more modern books. I've been scooping up a lot of Silver Age Batman books recently, and for the most part, I just want to own those books in my collection, so I'll snag them in most any condition. But if I am at the store and I'm looking at some books and I have the option between some, sure, I'll nitpick. Have you ever sniped someone on eBay? Ooh, man, if you would have asked me this question a week ago, I would have said no. But being in quarantine, I've started getting on eBay a lot. And after losing like 4 or 5 auctions because I've been sniped, I said I'm going to try it, and it worked. So I have done it a couple times. I don't know if that makes me a bad comic book collector or not, but I've done it. Sorry if I sniped you. My bad. Have you ever paid over $100 or gone over budget on a comic? I honestly don't think I've actually ever paid over $100 yet for a comic. Now, have I gone over budget? Absolutely. I go over budget every week. I mean, that's what collecting you do. Let's be honest. Have you ever complained about specking or flipping? Honestly, I don't think I've ever complained about specking or flipping when it comes to comics. Honestly, to each their own. We all collect in our own different ways. People like to, I mean, if I know a book is out there that has potential, sure, I'll buy it. I'm not probably going to go crazy. I don't personally flip just because I buy what I like, but I've also only have been collecting for about a year and a half, so maybe once that changes a little bit. But, I mean, to each their own, right? Everybody likes to collect comics differently. Some like to slab their comics. Others like it raw. Like, ooh, baby, I like it raw. Shimmy, shimmy, yeah. Right? If you don't get that, you're too young. Anyways, right? Like, we all collect differently, so to each their own. Who cares? So if you want to spec and flip, go for it. Have you ever given a comic or received a comic as a gift? I've given out a couple comics, but not too many. But just recently, since I've gotten into collecting, my wife has started to give me comics as a gift. For our anniversary in the fall, she gave me a Last Night on Earth Batman book signed by Scott Snyder and Greg Pulo. Like, okay, great anniversary gift. And then a compilation of Dick Tracy comics. So, yeah, so she starts to give me comics, which is great. She's good friends now with our comic store owner, and she'll go in and be like, what does my husband have? What does he need? And that's what she buys for me for gifts. So it's a fantastic thing to receive comics as a gift. As an adult, have you ever decorated your home in comic book paraphernalia? Yeah. Have you ever skipped work to read or buy a comic? Not ever actually skipped work, but that's kind of like a loaded question and answer because I am on salary, and so I can kind of dip out and move around if I need to. So if I have to go to the store to get a comic, I'll just work more hours at another point. So I've never actually skipped work. Have I moved work around to buy a comic? Yeah. Have you ever paid to go to a Comic-Con? Absolutely. Are you kidding me? I've paid for myself, my wife, my kids. We've all gone to Comic-Cons. We love Comic-Cons. My wife and I usually go about 3 or 4 a year. We were just going to go to Lexington Comic Con a couple weekends ago, but that obviously got canceled because of everything. So yeah, we go to a lot of cons. Have you ever paid to get an autographed photo or sketch? Yes, yes, and yes. Mostly I've paid for photos for celebrities. Most comic creators that I've gotten photos with, they've given them to me for free. Definitely paid for their autographs. Definitely, I just got a sketch done. Ryan Stegman did an absolute carnage little sketch on a blank variant for me, and it is fantastic. So I'll post that out. Oh, there it is. So yeah, I absolutely love getting that stuff. Have you ever bought multiple copies of a book before? Yep. Not always, but there's a couple out there. I'll grab anything Batman Adventures #1. I've gotten a couple of #1s of the Batman Volume 3 issue #1. If it's an Amalgam series book, I'll grab it because you can usually find those for a dollar bin. I'll snag those up left and right. I love the Amalgam series. So yeah, I'll definitely buy comics, multiple comics. Have you ever bought multiple covers of a book? Yes, not often. I'm trying to think what probably the last comic that I bought multiple covers for was I went to a midnight release party for Wolverine 1. So, I mean, that I went to a midnight release party at a comic book store. So that answers are your comic book nerd right there. But yeah, I got the original. I got the die cut cover. I got the party variant store incentive cover. I got the Comic Tom 101 cover. So yeah, I got a lot of the Wolverine #1 comics. Not typically, I'm not even a huge Wolverine fan, but the artwork is fantastic. So if it's the right comic book, yeah, I'll definitely get multiple covers. Have you ever complained that you need to downsize your collection for space? No, luckily I just started collecting about a year and a half ago more intensely, and we got a new house about a year ago. So I was able to claim the basement, and that's kind of my domain, and that's where all my collection goes. And it's even started to filter out into other parts of the room of the house, so that's been pretty sweet. So, but no, I haven't had to downsize yet. Hopefully won't have to. Have you ever sent a comic book in for grading? Yes, one time, actually. I was at Lexington Comic Con last March, and I got David Finch to sign one of my #1 Batman Volume 3 issue #1. Did the signature series thing at the table, had CGC send it in, and it came back as a beautiful 9.8. Ooh, it's a thing of beauty. So that's actually the only comic book I've sent in to get slabbed. So I'm sure it'll happen here more often soon, but right now I've only done it once. Have you ever sent a book in for a cleaning or pressing? Not yet, maybe eventually, but no. Have you ever bought a Chase or a store exclusive? A couple times, just because the price was right, but not often. If there's something that catches my eye, by all means, I will. I snagged the Midtown Comics Absolute Carnage that Donnie Cates sketched. I thought that was a cool book, so I grabbed some of those, but not often. Have you ever traded comics? Actually, I haven't. Be willing to if that's the right book, but right now I've sold some of my comics that people have asked or that have been wanting, and I bought comics, but I haven't actually traded. Have you ever waited to get tickets for a comic book movie? No, I think everything's digital now so basically I'll I'll go, and if something's sold out, I'll go to another theater. We're blessed where we have a lot of theaters, so that's not an issue. Back in 1999, when I was younger, I did wait in line to buy tickets for Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace, with my cousin. So we waited in line to buy tickets like 3 months before it came out, and then we waited in line like for 5 hours to get into the theater. So not really comic book related, but still super nerdy. So no, but yes. Have you ever gotten into a fight or a physical altercation because of comics? No. Was at Louisville. My wife and I were at Louisville back in November at the Galaxy Con. And there was a guy in front of me who I thought was going to fight another guy. The whole issue was waiting for a CGC witness, and guy was thinking he was getting cut and all of this. But I'll tell you what, this was the line for Greg Capullo, and he handled it like a boss. He shut that down like a champ. I don't honestly, if he wasn't there, it probably would have been a fight. But for the most part, I've not dealt with that. And a lot of the comic community, I feel like, is pretty cool about respecting each other. So I've not ever fought anyone because of a comic, and I have no intention to, let's be honest. Have you ever trolled online or gotten into a post-war over comics? Not really. I think the most trolling I ever do, of a buddy who's a diehard MCU fan, and I love the MCU, but like they can do no wrong kind of person. And I'm kind of saying sometimes they don't make the greatest movies. And so we'll argue with each other via text, but nothing really publicly. Yeah. Have you ever dressed up as an adult as a comic book character? Once. My first Comic Con I went to was up in Wizard World, up with some buddies. We went up to it. Was in Cleveland, Ohio. And I dressed up as Hugo Strange because not too many comic book characters who are bald and have a beard. And I wasn't going to trim this beauty to dress up. So I have dressed up as a comic book character once. I wear a lot of comic book themed shirts. But I actually don't dress up at cons very often because I get a lot of pictures. And I want the pictures to be of me with the celebrity or whoever I'm getting my picture with. So after my first con, I kind of said, I'm not going to dress up for cons if I'm trying to get pictures. But that's just me. Have you ever lied about collecting comics? No, I don't think I've ever lied. I've definitely not disclosed that information sometimes. And there's not out of any reason. I started my Instagram channel, my YouTube channel, Twitter is just kind of an outlet because a lot of my friends are not comic book nerds. And so I didn't want to bog them down on my personal page with all my comic book nerdery stuff. So I just started my own random pages and channels a while back and just said, hey, this is where I'm at. And I haven't really told a lot of people that I did. So when people start to stumble on it, it'll be really funny, and they'll be surprised. But I definitely don't lie about it. If they're like, oh, do you collect comics? Yeah. And if they come to my house, yeah, they would see. So I don't lie about it. I guess I just don't shout it from the rooftops. Have you ever bought a figure or a statue of a comic book character? I buy a lot of Funkos. Not a lot. I bought in Funkos. I buy action figures. I would love to get some statues. I just haven't ever bought a statue. So yeah, I've definitely bought figures for sure. Yeah. Have you ever cried or been angry over a comic? No, and it's actually kind of surprising because, man, I've teared up at some of the most lamest things lately, but not actually over a comic yet. So I'm sure the time will come. Yeah, but not right now. Do you have a comic-related tattoo? I don't have tattoos, and that's nothing wrong with them. I love tattoos. I'm just too afraid to get them because I change my opinion on stuff so quickly that I'm like, within 3 months, I'll probably be like, I hate it. So nothing has stuck out with me enough to get a tattoo. But if I never did, would it be a comic book tattoo? Absolutely. So there you go. I did it. I took the Are You a Comic Book Nerd challenge. And I think it's safe to say that I am. I'll have to tally up the numbers here and see what my final score is. But yeah, I'm a comic book nerd. Have you guys taken the challenge yet? And if you have, comment below. Let me know. Tag your channel so that way I can see your guys' video. I love watching this content. I think just creating more and more comic book content out there in the world makes the world a better place. So if you guys have channels that you guys have done this challenge on, make sure you comment below. Let me know. I want to check those out. I want to subscribe to your guys' stuff to see what you guys are doing. But yeah, make sure if you like this video, if you like the review videos I've been doing, to like them, comment, subscribe. Let's just continue to have this conversation about comic books, because when we're talking about comics, the world is a better place. So hey, I hope you guys are staying safe, and as always, I hope you guys just find a chance that you can grab a book and nerd out. Take care.